Alright, hi guys. Today we're doing, in this video at least, we'll do the transition mechanism and the cash rate corridor probably. But before we do that, we kind of need to understand how the RBA interacts with the economy, what the processes it goes through. So right now I've just got the different levels. So at the top we've got RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia, and under them is the commercial bank. So just in this case, Bank 1, Bank 2. They hold exchange settlement funds. That's their bank accounts. They have money in them and it's held at the RBA. Then under them, various businesses, consumers hold accounts at these commercial banks. Right? Essentially, what we see happen, at the end of a day, at a business day, banks have to hold an exchange settlement fund that is at either zero, a value of zero, or positive. They can't be negative. They can't owe money to the RBA or another bank. So, how do these exchange settlement funds change? It's pretty simple. What happens is, most of the time, most transactions that happen in an economy during the day, they're between two people that are at different banks. So what has to happen, what we see happen is, as a consumer, buy product, money goes to them. Or in some cases, if it was a refund, the money would go to the consumer. Right? That's what we see. It's not what happens though, because the money just can't go to them. I don't know why, but that's just how it works. So, instead, consumer, money goes to exchange settlement fund with their bank now, and then the business demands said amount of money from their exchange settlement fund. So obviously, Bank 2 owes Bank 1 that amount of money. So that money goes over into theirs. So let's say this happened a lot of times in the day. The final product of that day would be Bank 1 having a net debt in their ESF account, and Bank 2 having a net debt, Bank 1 having a net surplus. So, what can they do? Okay. Bank 2 can't owe money to anyone. So what they either have to do, they either have to borrow from the RBA or have to borrow from another bank. They can do that overnight. And if they borrow from the RBA, it's cash rate plus 0.25%. So that's how much they would pay in interest overnight. Now, or they can borrow from Bank 1 and they would pay their interest rate. I don't know how much it would be, just interest rate. Sorry, that's really unneat, but you get the idea. So, that's what Bank 2 has to do. They have to figure out how to get that money, that ESL account to a zero. On the other side, Bank 1, they have money. They have money to spare. So, first option, which we covered, they can lend that to other banks to help them pay off their ESL account, and they can make some money overnight in their interest rates. Or they can deposit their money at the RBA, in a bank account, and earn interest off it. So, yeah. So that would be cash rate, take 0.25%. That's how much they, and then they can earn interest off that overnight, and all is well and good, and they get a surplus. So when the RBA changes its cash rate, it affects the banks obviously, but they don't want to deal with the burden of it. So RBA cash rate, if they're borrowing, that means they're paying the cash rate plus 0.25% to the RBA, and they don't want to have to put up with it. They don't want the burden of that change, so they pass it down to businesses or consumers in this case. So that's what we see. That's what we see as interest rate changes. So that's how the RBA can control the interest rates, because it gets passed from the bank to the consumer or business. Yeah, I think that's pretty much more of that.